So, we are in Pforzheim, Germany, and I'm sitting with David Brigden, Secretary General of MLAIC, and this is the World Championships, the 25th World Championship of MLAIC. So, David, how did you shoot today?
Morning, Bolish. And the next question? Yeah, it was okay. I shot 5 9s and a 10, which is very good. But I also shot some 8s and some 7s and some 6s, and one I can't account for. So, in general, I was happy with the score. It was an 86, which is a good team score for matchlock, but no individual medal.
So, but this means that you have a chance to win your first medal in Pforzheim.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't want to go home without a medal. And I think I might be in the Hibuta team, which is good. It's a new event. So if we get there, if we can win the gold there, we've got every chance. Then we win the championships with a new world record. And that would please me very, very much.
Oh, yeah. And how does your team do?
Yeah, very, very well. The shotgunners are always good. They always bring home medals, and usually gold. But on Tuesday, Jane Capewell, she shot really well, broke the world record, so she'll go home with the gold medal. And I think in one of the events, the original percussion, we got 1, 2, 3. So they're having to shoot off for second place, but the 2 Englishmen, it's really good. Team's doing very well.
And how do you feel about the new constitution of MLAIC? It was accepted.
I'm so pleased that's got accepted. It's a much, much better document, and the way it's constructed, we can modify the rules as and when we see changes are necessary. There's a few things that have happened here this weekend. I mean, in general, the organisation and the shoot's gone very well. The problem is with some of the shooters, they think they can change things on the gun, and they can't. You know, we've had military rifles with extended sights, and you can't do that. In the rules it says that the gun must be fired as issued, and there are no modifications to the sights. Now, some of the sights, after years of use, they've worn down. So if the original specification, let's for argument's say, was 8mm, and it's worn down to 6mm, then you can bring it back to its original profile. But what you can't do is build it up so it looks like a totem pole on the end of the gun.
Yeah, I believe that this military gun question, can be easily solved, what we discussed previously. But how do you feel about, not the originals, but the repros?
Well, when I started shooting, which was back in shooting muzzle with the MLAIC, that was 84, it was evident that quite a few of the firearms in use, particularly the repro matchlock muskets and some of the Vetelis, are not reproductions of anything, they're inventions. But there are so many of them around, it's now virtually impossible to do anything with it without a great deal of cost to the shooters. But what I think we can do is that when gun manufacturers produce a gun which is clearly not a copy of anything, they've used parts that they've got to build a gun which looks like then we can build a database on the MLAIC website, show those guns to advise their shooters not to buy them. And hopefully the gun manufacturers will catch on, because it's just as important for them to be able to produce guns that are acceptable as it is for us. I mean, the last thing we want is people being disqualified because the gun's wrong.
Yeah.
So, it's best for everybody. If they produce good quality guns that are copies, then everybody's happy.
And how you are going to strengthen the firearms inspection?
Well, we're going to have one person overlooking it who will be an expert. I've asked Jeff Tanner. He's an expert particularly on Enfields and military rifles, but he's got good knowledge of target pistols and also revolvers. He's a member of the British team and has been since 1974. So he's greatly experienced. Now he will oversee all of the inspectors, and when people come through with guns that are questionable, he'll say, this is acceptable, that's not. And they won't be permitted to take their paperwork. They'll be rubber stamped with a big red cross until they get the gun fixed, if it's possible. But my intention is to get the team captains and delegates to check their shooters' firearms before they get here. you know, the shooters, the ones that pay for them, spend a lot of money to get here. They spend a lot of money on the guns, and to come here and told you can't shoot, it's, you know,
it's the worst thing that can happen.
it breaks my heart as well as theirs. So I don't want that to happen. But if we can get to come here, the guns are sweet. We don't have to inspect them. We don't have any problems on the range. I mean, someone shot yesterday, and because his gun was modified, it was a military gun, he was disqualified. Now, I know how I would feel. And
Yeah. The bad thing in this, but the reason he was disqualified for, the answer he gave that everybody is doing this.
yeah,
So
well, if everybody...
that's a problem.
I'll tell you a story. When I was at school, the teacher said to us, he said, anyone doesn't bring their homework in, we'll get slippered tomorrow. So we got together, none of us brought our homework in. We all got slippered. Just because it happened that everybody's doing it is no excuse. They will all be disqualified. There's no reason to it. If no one modifies their gun and we're all shooting on equal terms, then, you know, small modifications to repair the gun and to bring it back into its original form is perfectly acceptable.
It's a question of, is it giving some advantage compared to the other shooters or not, I think.
Yeah.
And in the military classes, it's an easy job because we have the old military manuals.
Yes.
So they are a good reference.
Yes, certainly with the military rifles. I don't know what to do about the European matchlocks in the Tanegashima event. I think we just got to wear that, and to an extent in the Vetterli as well. But unless it's from a known maker, I don't know what you can do. But the problem, I think, is with the gun manufacturers. They're producing reproductions that are not exactly reproductions. And if we start tightening down on gun control, and those guys that have bought them are getting, and they go back to the manufacturers, say, look, you've sold me a gun that I can't use, then I think eventually, 4 or 5 years' time, then we'll be able to, it'll be a rolling on. I think it's difficult to determine, but maybe in 10 years' time we can be clean, and that would be really good.
Yeah.
And by that time I'll probably be handing it over to someone else to follow up. But it's one of the problems is the rules have evolved. I spoke to Paul Marchand, the patron, and he said when he wrote the rules it was 5 pages, and he doesn't understand why it's so big now. But as things happen, you have to write a rule to cover that situation. It just grows and grows and grows. But I think now the document is very, very good. It enables us to change things very quickly. Now everybody is on.
Can react.
Yeah. So if something happens now, we can get it voted on, and it's in the rules for next year. And with the website, of course, you can put pictures up there. We're also on Facebook, so I can get information to the shooters. Because my aim is to get the shooters to, first of all, read the rules, because quite clearly a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
It would be helpful if all the delegates could translate certainly into the major languages, Spanish, French, German.
Yeah.
And I can put them on the website as well, so they can just download them and...
Yes. And I believe for the different classes that firearms reference pages will be very, very helpful for the shooters.
Absolutely, yeah.
They can check by themselves whether the rifle or gun is okay for the discipline or not.
Well, fortunately, we've just come into possession of quite a lot of documents that do give us that information. They were produced by Donald Mawson, the previous Secretary General, and Nancy's just given us those. So, one of our shooters, the British shooters, John Huggett, has a database of Enfield firearms, just Enfield at the moment, but we intend to expand that. So until we can actually get it going, what I'll do is build a page with links for research, and just put a link in there, and then as time goes on we'll have our own database. And so it's progressing slowly but efficiently.
Okay. If you have to look for one word to describe this competition, what would you say?
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much. You're watching the Cap and Bell channel, and David Brigden is with me, from Secretary General of MLAIC. And David, I wish you some good scores and that first medal.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I've got one more event to shoot, and that's the new event with kneeling matchlock.
Yeah.
Hibuta, and I'd really like to have a gold medal in that, because then we also get the world record, because it's a new event. Now that would really please me. You will see one happy but drunk man at the closing ceremony.
Be careful, people under 18 also.
All right, okay.
So not drunk, very
maybe a little bit tipsy.
Okay, thank you very much, David.
Cheers, Bolesh. You take care. Bye-bye.